want to thank the Chamber for allowing me this opportunity to share this with you. They do a great job here, and I appreciate that very much, Justin. What I'd like to share with you today is basically projects that's going on in Brazil, ones that are completed, ones that are ongoing, and future things that you may be looking for in the very near future. I'll go through this kind of as our departments. I'm going to give you a very kind of a quick overview, but it's kind of a lot of information to throw out there at once, and anyone certainly that wants more information, feel free to come by and see me, and I'll give you everything I have. To start out with, I want to start with our utilities. Our wastewater, well, we've been working very hard in that area. The completed projects is we purchased a new jet truck to replace the old one that was over 30 years old. Got a couple new pickup trucks. We've done this in-house also. They replaced over 2,000 feet of sanitary lines in Northwood subdivision and Lake Brazilian Estates. They installed new above-ground lift stations at Craig Park, Meridian Street, Murphy Avenue to replace outdated equipment. The new lift stations are a lot safer, and they reduce the amount of I&I that's infiltrating our system that we're having to treat down at the plant. So that's something that were completed projects. The ongoing projects in that department is to replace storm sewer lines in the Northwood addition, relocate the I-70 lift station. We're going to upgrade the Hoosier Street lift station. We'd like to get a new service truck, and we also like to get a backup generator for the wastewater treatment plant. Actually, I think IDEM, that's something they actually require, and we really need to get that in place. If the power goes down, that we can still operate that station. So in our wastewater, and that's just a tip of the iceberg of what they've been doing, and if you notice, you see them out doing a lot of the work now due to the fact that we've got equipment we can use. We have the talent pool that's already placed in-house in order to do those projects, and we've got a good superintendent that's heading up that. So we'll keep plugging away at that. Under our water distribution and treatment completed projects, we did get a new skid steer that we needed desperately. As most of you know, we were able to get a couple excavators also. So there again, we're doing a lot of our work in-house, and that's helped a lot. You may have noticed we replaced a 4-inch water main and turned it into a 6-inch up on North Meridian Street and got that out of the road, so if it's not out in the middle of the road, and also replaced fire hydrants along with that, along with some fire hydrants that were not functioning up on Walnut Street. Some of those fire hydrants up there, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, were close to 100 years old. And the worst thing I think you can have out there in the world is hydrants that don't work. So we are working on replacing those also. We replaced the water main between Collins and Halbert, and the water distribution ongoing projects. The water treatment plant's in process of installing a 100 horsepower high service pump to be used with the existing pump that's out there. That's the pumps that force water to the distribution system, and they alternate on a 24-hour rotation. So as most of you know, when we're dealing with our water utility here, that's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation that we're running there. So we want to keep it upgraded, running efficiently as possible. One area that we looked at that I do want to report that we were having a terrible amount of water loss. I mean, upwards to the point of pumping 90 million gallons of water a month and billing for 30. You know, so that tells us we've had a lot of water loss going on, and some of this obviously we could discover because those leaks come to the top, but a lot of them sometimes they don't surface. They're very difficult to find. Our water department, I feel like we've really been doing a push on that. They've done an excellent job to date. So far, we've got that decreased by 14%, which amounts to 400,000 gallons a day that now we're not pumping that we were before. So that's a significant decrease in that situation there, but we're going to continue to look at that and we're still finding places out in areas where these leaks are going down instead of surfacing. There's a lot of line that was strung out here throughout the community with no mapping, and we're addressing it as we discover it, and they've done a very good job of doing that, I feel like. Future projects are water meter replacement. We're about 65% done on that, installing the new residential water meters, so they'll be on radio reads. They'll be more correct. We'll be able to read these meters much more efficiently. They also, you know, you can pull a history. If somebody has a leak at 1 o'clock in the morning, or to be quite frank with you, if they flushed a commode, you can tell them with one of these things. So it helps out a lot on water leaks in those situations too. Also something that's, I think it's not a great big deal, but I think it'll be significant, and we've got it ordered. We want to do an outside drop box for water payments, and we're going to try to install it in such a fashion that people can drive up to it with an automobile and drop off their payment. And also, we are looking on doing an online bill pay to make it more convenient for people to just get online, where it would be a real-time situation. When you pay, it's automatically credited, and moving forward with that, and I think it can help us be a lot more efficient in that area. One thing I want to throw out there too is kind of in our infrastructure investment in our utilities in this past year, we spent $565,000 dedicated towards, you know, infrastructure and doing upgrades, replacement repairs and things like that, and that you will see that continue without a doubt. One thing I want to explain to you about our utilities, I don't think a lot of people knew, coming into this situation, you know, we have a budget on the general side we work with tax dollars. For whatever reason, the utilities never had a budget. So we did create one, and it took a little while, you know, to get that fine-tuned, and now we do operate under a specific budget on the utility side, which is about $1.8 million a year is what we budget to work with there. So it gives us a lot better understanding of where we're at on any given time at that point. I'll move forward now to our public safety. First of all, our police department, to give you an idea of what the amount of calls, they had over 6,800 calls for service in 2014. We were able to purchase a couple new Ford Expeditions and 2 patrol cars for 2014. If you notice, we've got our automobiles updated in our police department, so they're a lot better shape. We had vehicles that, to be quite honest with you, I don't feel like it was safe for them to be out there driving in. At times, you know, they are required to move rather quickly, and we want to keep them in the safest and best equipment we can. We upgraded the radio dispatch computer system for better compatibility. The old system had been in place since the early 90s. We installed mobile laptops in all the police cars. We had a Brazil Police Department officer complete his law enforcement academy requirements, and another one's currently enrolled and due to graduate in the spring of 2015. We've added a part-time animal control officer, and our police officers have completed 288 hours of continued training. The police department implemented a incident tracking program to better serve the needs of the community here. And also, you may have noticed our shop with the comp program hit record numbers this year. And thanks to this community, you don't know how much that helped those kids. They were able to take care of 140 kids, and that's due to you folks sitting out here today. And you don't know how much that means to them. Our fire department. Our Brazil Fire Department firefighters have concluded training in the areas of hazardous material response, technical rescue response as per OSHA, and National Fire Academy recommendations. The assistant chiefs have all been certified as state firefighter instructors. Individual firefighters have completed more advanced training on rope rescue, the areas of youth fire setting prevention and intervention, along with Walmart facility grant program that provides free smoke detectors to low-income families in need of them. The firefighters spent time educating fire safety and prevention in various schools and preschools in Clay County. They speak to hundreds of children each year during the school visits and fire station tours. We hired 2 new firefighters, replaced retired firefighters in 13 and 14, and those firefighters are currently completing their EMT studies at Ivy Tech State College, where they will soon be certified EMTs. So as you see, our fire department they're working very diligently to further their education and their ability in the field they're in, and we'll all be better served for it. And we really appreciate the effort that's went on there in their department. They've done a great job here in this community, and our public safety and our police and fire department, I'm very proud of them, and our police chief and fire chief are to be commended for that, and I appreciate it, guys. A little bit now, I'll get to the general side of the city and what's going on there. Basically, one number that we look at that I was glad to see at the end of 2014, we had spent $3,535,000. Our revenues was $3,933,000. So we had $397 that we didn't go out there and just spend everything that we had coming in. So that's money that obviously we have to carry over and gives us money to work with. So that's a good number to see right there. Excuse me. In our local roads and streets and motor vehicle completed projects, in 2014, to give you an idea, we put down 450 tons of salt and sand mix just on city streets alone. We were able to purchase a dump truck with snow plow and a sand spreader to allow us to be more efficient when that situation arises. In 2014, road repair began, and city employees applied 500 tons of rock and 14,000 gallons of oil in repairing streets. You know, you've all seen this Durapatcher that's out here that we use in the street department, and quite truthfully, that's something I really want to work at getting away from, and that's why the street paving project is going on. We'll curb a lot of this Band-Aids that we're really doing on the streets, and so we'll stick with that. One thing in the city, you know, it's an issue for people having their bushes trimmed or tree limbs and things like that due to the fact that we don't burn things in the city. So one way we addressed that, we hired, and it worked out pretty good last year, we hired 2 seasonal employees, and believe me, you can keep 2 guys 40 hours a week. We're just picking up limbs that people have cut and they move them out towards the street, and we pick them up for them and dispose of them. We plan on continuing that service, so that's still going to be in place and we can handle those. If you notice North 11th Street, we had a big problem up there. There was no storm sewers. It all washed out underneath the street. That's concrete, so it all started falling through. So we did go up there. We redone that street, put it back in concrete. There's 3 blocks there. There are now storm sewers also in there, so that'll never happen again up there, and we'll prevent that from happening. So we got that done. Obviously, as most of you know, our street repaving project got kicked off last fall. We spent about $1.7 million, and we're able to do 14 miles roughly of roads, put down over 20,000 tons of new asphalt, and we plan on continuing. Right now, we'll probably in April kick back into that. We had $2.5 million in that bond leasing program that we done on this first phase. Next year, we look at doing $1.5 million on the south side of town. We're pretty close to completing on creating what's called an economic development area down there, so that will allow the bond leasing to happen, and we certainly plan on continuing that project, and will be better for it when it's all done. They look pretty nice, what they've got done, and so we're really glad to see that happen, and we'll keep going at that. NDOT, their project, as we all know, you know, it got kicked off last year. Wasn't quite the start we wanted to see, but it's moving forward now. I really want to commend all the businesses and everybody down in that area. I know that had to be just a nightmare to go through when all that water remediation system had to be put in there. It changed the whole scope of that project and the difficulty for those businesses, especially on the north side, for their access in and out. And I really want to thank them all down there, because trust me, they weren't calling, complaining and everything. They really got through that, and I know it was extremely difficult, but we really appreciate your patience in doing that, because that's a tough one. I know it really is, but we'll get by it, we'll keep moving, and I think it will go a little smoother here on out. Their plan is to pick up where they left off in this next construction season, get to State Road 59, and also do that intersection. And possibly they may start out at the east end of town with some of the water line replacement, because that's not out in the road. And if they can do that, it'll kind of get that project back on closer to the timeline that they originally wanted to do it in. So we may see a little bit of work going on at the east end also. And so it's moving right along now, and I think it will go a little smoother than all the trouble they had down there in that intersection. Another future project, we will be doing the street sign replacement project. That's scheduled to be let for bids in September 2015 and completed by the end of the year. That's $198,000 is what the city will be investing in that project right there. In our planning and zoning, phase 1 of the FEMA project's been completed. Phase 2 is near completion. The project thus far has been an investment of $1.3 million in taking down these homes in the floodplain. And we're trying, there's a possibility of another $300,000 that we're applying for that could be used for that also. So we want to stay on that. Some things that's went on that you'll see coming about in future project is the blight elimination program. You've seen a little bit of that in the paper, where we did receive $215,000 to remove some of the blighted homes that's been targeted that need tore down. That's through the hardest hit fund. I'm also working with the county commissioners, and we've had conversation about some of these that go to commissioner sale. If there's a way we can procure them as a city, we can use some of this money towards that also. So we're looking into that possibility. Sidewalk and compliance repairs. One thing I've done is go over to, we're not part of the what's called an MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization. It's ran through Western Indiana, Western Indiana Economic Development. And I sit on the board of that, so we can have some input on that. We are going to receive in over the next 3 years $390,000. Basically, I want to wrap this up with letting you know what's going on in Brazil as far as total investments that's happening here is phenomenal. It really is. When you start looking at things as a whole, basically, whether it be industrial investment, where there's been tax abatements, that's telling us that there's somebody that's buying new equipment or doing things like that. Typically, that comes with maybe not adding a lot of jobs, but certainly securing the ones that's there, if nothing else. So it's great to see that going on. That's happened in town. Of course, we've got the U.S., our local, or the 40 project, our repaving project. There's $3.26 million going to be spent in 2015 on just different stores here in town that are remodeling and doing those upgrading their facilities. That's very refreshing to see that. That tells you something. It's an indicator, that we're moving forward. They don't put that kind of money in investments in a dying community. So they see things going here in the right direction too, I believe. I think it's a good indicator. Exceptional Living Center. That's a very sizable investment and a much needed project for this community, and we really appreciate that going on there. But when you total up, and this is just in 2014, it's $40 million of investment in Brazil, Indiana. That's something, and it's either through private industry, retailers, citizens here in Brazil. They're funding this street project, so it's great to see that happen. And all this, I think, the more of it we do, the more of it we'll receive. You know, we'll use the 40 project and these things going on as a springboard to continue to get on more projects and keep doing well. And we'll be out there looking for, obviously then we'll start looking for more grants, I think. We'll be able to submit applications that I think will be a lot more competitive when you see a lot of these projects going on. That's something they look at when you do these grant applications. Is it's a big deal that the state's investing that money here. That's a big deal when you go after grants along with all the rest of it too. So, you know, I'm really proud of what's going on here in Brazil. I'm proud of all the people we got working for us. I ask an awful lot, believe me, of our employees here in the utility departments, the street departments, and our public safety departments. And never once have I asked them to do something that didn't happen. They're very good about getting on board with, we're all on the same track. We all may have different ways of getting there, but it's obvious to me that we all want to get the same result at the end. And, you know, that I know when I came into office, you know, for example, our water department came to me, and, you know, we've been fighting these water leaks and everything for years, and their big thing was, well, we really don't have any equipment to go work with, and you know they did. And I will say this, we got that handled, and as quick as that was handled, they was out there fixing it. So, like I say, we have the ability to do it, and we'll continue to do that way. I appreciate everybody coming out today and showing your concern for what's going on in Brazil. I hope you find this to be good news. I look at it that way. Like I say, when we, our financial situation's much better than it has been over many years. We do have some money to work with now, and as long as we keep doing what we're doing, I think we're going to be fine and we're going to continue to prosper. So thank you very much.